Something very important is happening in America. Cities are moving left even as the rest of the country is moving right. And this is going to produce tremendous difficulties. That this division, which is widening, is going to present tremendous difficulties down the road.
In our final segment with Fred Siegel, Fred reflects on how cities are moving left while the country is moving right, how Obama's failures are causing the left to move further to the left, and how a prospective conservative president ought to govern if elected in 2016. Note that we recorded these remarks before the recent controversy over the Religious Freedom Restoration Act in Indiana, a prospect which Fred anticipates toward the end of our discussion.
Cities are moving left even as the rest of the country is moving right. And this is going to produce tremendous difficulties. That this division, which is widening, is going to present tremendous difficulties down the road. Part of it occurs because although cities produce enormous majorities for liberals, or for Obama, and for Obama, the turnout is very low because the political culture of cities is eroded. The only people who vote in city elections, by and large, and this whether it's New York or L.A. or Chicago, are public sector unionists. And public sector unionism is, as Scott Walker understood, immensely problematic for the economic well-being of a city or state. What we're seeing now is liberalism that's responding to Obama's failures by moving further left. Not moving in a different direction, but just further left. So what we talked about earlier, the big city, the urban liberalism, is now pushing redistribution even harder. The 20s liberalism was a liberalism about at its best, which dealt with individual rights and the need to protect the individual from the state. The liberalism we're seeing emerge out of Obama's failures is a kind of statist liberalism, which wants to use the state to divvy up even more of society's resources. And Obama himself is taken an ominously authoritarian turn in terms of his regulatory powers of the state. I listened to a relative of mine explain that what Obama is doing with amnesty for 5 million illegal immigrants is legitimate. And I asked why. He said, why? He said, it's true, he said, because I went to Harvard Law School. Okay, I'll go with that. But that kind of argument, that kind of I'm inherently smarter, I deserve to govern, it's increasingly characteristic. The next president, if he's going to be successful, is going to have to be a federalist. And what I mean by that is the country is too big and too divided to be governed by a single uniform perspective of the sort that Woodrow Wilson tried to impose, to use your analogy with Wilson and Obama. It's not doable anymore. So if a good, intelligent, conservative president will allow for federalism. He'll allow states to go their own way. If New York wants to build casinos, it thinks the future of its economy is building casinos in upstate New York, they should continue in that vein. And they want even more money spent on Medicaid, they should continue in that vein. They just shouldn't be subsidized by the rest of the country. But we shouldn't attempt to impose policy as opposed to funding, which a different question. We ought to let the states go their way, you know, within a reasonable framework. Because if not, what we're going to get is identity politics wiping out pluralism, and you know, people being told that whatever their religious beliefs, they must engage in such and such policy in regard to gay marriage. This can't work. I couldn't have written the books that I've written without my family. My wife is, woes be her, has listened to me read everything I've written at least once, usually twice. And my sister-in-laws have helped promote anything I've written, and my sons have been a tremendous help with every book I've written, Harry and Jake. And so I feel fortunate that I've had these wonderful people around me to allow me to do what I've done.